So, okay, yeah, it's working. So I would like to give you a brief introduction first. So disbudding is a routine husbandry procedure defined as removal of the horn buds in calves younger than 2 months. And it's done mainly with hot iron cauterization, and farmers prefer disbudded or dehorned cattle mainly for safety reasons. So in 81% of European and 93% of Czech dairy, they currently keep hornless animals. But calves after disbudding feel ongoing pain for 3 weeks. But in spite of this, less than 30% of farms use some pain relief medications. Some reasons for it, one reason for it is that the European Union legislation and the Czech legislation allows disbudding without any pain relief medication until 4 weeks of age. So I would like to speak a bit about behavior after disbudding. So animals change the frequency of specific behaviors after disbudding. So they increase pain-related behaviors such as head shaking, head scratching, head rubbing, and also body shaking. And they decrease play, exploration, feeding, and laying. And it's also good to add that most studies focus on the effect of pain relief medications on calf reactions to disbudding, but some of them found that it's not really possible to eliminate all the negative effects on calf welfare just with those pain relief medications. So also other ways how to improve welfare of disbudded calves should be addressed. And one of such promising ways is the effect of social buffering, which is the ability of social partners to decrease the negative effects of stressors. And there are some evidence that of social buffering. For example, that cattle seek social contact when they are exposed to stressors. And calves spend more time in proximity to a disbudded calf compared to sham disbudded. And I would like to give you just a quick note that sham disbudded calves receive the same treatment, but the temperature of the electrocautery is ambient. So ADAS results suggest that calves are able to identify a conspecific in pain. Another study found out that disbudded calves spend more time in a shelter together compared to sham disbudded. So this is also an evidence of social buffering. But there is no study addressing calves' behavior post-disbudding with respect of different housing conditions. So I would like to speak a bit about those housing conditions. Individual housing is the most common type of housing in Europe. So dairy calves are kept in individual housing for the first 8 weeks of their age. In Europe, 60% of calves are housed individually, and in Czech Republic, 97% of farms use this type of housing. But many studies have shown that individual housing impairs calf welfare. So pair housing is the simplest form of social housing, but it may be more likely implemented by farmers. So it's a compromise between practice and welfare. And studies showed that pair housing, if we compare it with individual housing, pair housing improves coping with stress after weaning, also increases body weight gain, and improves affective state. So pair housed calves are in a more positive affective state than individual calves. Sorry. So let's move to our study. So we hypothesized that after disbudding, pair house calves will hay feed, ruminate, lie, explore, play more frequently than individually housed calves, and they will show decreased occurrence of pain-related behaviors compared to individually housed calves. So altogether, we have 35 female Holstein Friesian calves, 11 from individual housing and 24 from pair housing. One calf from the pair was a focal calf, and another one the social partner. So altogether, we had 12 focal calves from pair housing and 11 focal calves from individual housing. Calves were separated from their mothers within 12 hours after birth, and kept individually until they entered our experiment. They were randomly assigned to the housing treatment, so individual or pair housing. And at the age of 57 to 61 days, they were disbudded with local anesthetics. And we disbudded all calves, so not just focal ones, but also those social partners. So weighing was done 2 days prior disbudding, and behaviors were observed in 20-minute periods, 24, 12, 9, 6, 4, 3, 2, and 1 hours pre and post disbudding. And we used the 1-0 sampling method with 1 minute intervals, and we finally got sums of behaviors for each calf and each behavior. So we observed hay feeding, ruminating, lying, exploration, play, self-grooming, and from pain-related behaviors, we had head rubbing, head shaking, and foot stamping. So we analyzed the difference in the frequency of occurrence of behavior post minus pre-disbudding, and general linear models were run for each behavior with housing, treatment, body weight, and age included as fixed effects. And we found no significant effect of housing on rumination, lying, exploration, play, self-grooming, and pain-related behaviors. But we found that pair-housed calves fed more than individually housed calves, as you can see it also from the graph. The y-axis represents difference in occurrence of feeding, and those box plots shows the distribution of data from individual, so the blue box, and from pair, the red color. So you see also minimum, maximum values and interquartile range. And we also found that heavier calves fed less than lighter calves. So to summarize it, housing, treatment, and weight affected high feeding post-disbudding, and pair-housed calves fed more than individually housed calves. So one possible explanation could be that maybe the presence of a social companion facilitated recovery, and also heavier calves fed less than lighter calves. So lighter calves might have less energy for recovery, so they tried to compensate it, and they fed more to get more energy for the recovery. And there is no difference between treatments in rumination, exploration, play, self-grooming, and pain-related behaviors. So the question is if one conspecific is enough to provide a sufficient social support, because you know that naturally calves live in a more complex social environment. So so I would like to conclude that This is the first evidence that housing treatment affects calves' behavior after disbudding, and we would like to continue this study and also compare welfare of disbudded calves in different types of housing. So thank you for your attention, and I will answer your question if you have some.